train has been overrun by Wu-Tai troops. Eliminate them and regain control of the train.
Oh yeah!
With the Final Fantasy VII Remake out this week, I decided to jump into Crisis Core again and replay this fantastic game before Remake comes out. This is easily one of the best games on the PSP, and in my opinion it's better than the original Final Fantasy VII. What makes it better? Well, a big part of that is the protagonist, Zack. He's a brilliant hero, and his upbeat nature is infectious, which makes his journey and the game's ending even sadder. For this review, the beginning will be spoiler free, and then I'll talk in a more spoilery way about Crisis Core's story and ending, but I won't spoil the story for FF7. At the start of the game, Zack is a mid-level member of Soldier, Shinra's elite fighting force. He dreams of becoming a first-class member of Soldier, like his mentor Angeal and his hero Sephiroth. Through the game, Zack is put through various trials and tribulations, and he learns more about Shinra's evil machinations. Despite the dawning realization of his employer's evil nature, he doesn't lose his positivity. He always wants to fight to do what's right, and he remains honorable. It's a really sad story because you've got this guy who's so upbeat and positive, and who always wants to do the right thing, but life just keeps slamming him down. If you've played Final Fantasy VII, then you'll love seeing all the references and cameos from characters. This game, in my opinion, is essential for fans of Final Fantasy VII, because it sets up the story so well, and shows how characters like Cloud, Aerith, Sephiroth and Tifa all ended up where they were in Final Fantasy VII. That's what you want from a good prequel, staying faithful and also setting up the story of the original game. In terms of gameplay, it's an action RPG. You can perform a regular attack, and you can also acquire different materia, representing different actions or magic. For example, Cure, Fire Spell or Thunder Spell. You can't just constantly use magic though, as you have an MP gauge that gets depleted as you use magic. You press X to execute a move, square to dodge, and you use the shoulder button to cycle through the moves. It's a very intuitive control system to learn. You can't just spam attack though. Particularly for harder boss battles, you need to dodge, wait for an opening and then attack. On normal, the game isn't too hard, but when I played it years ago on hard, I found it super difficult. Like most RPGs, you do level up, which increases your stats, but it can feel a bit random. You don't have a regular experience gauge as you do with many RPGs. Instead, battles have this slot machine type system that's constantly running, called the Digital Mind Wave, or DMW. As it spins, it can give status improvements like unlimited magic or invulnerability. When it lands on 3 matching character faces, then Zack executes a special move, and if you get 3 sevens on the number gauge, you level up. The game does track your experience in the background, you just don't know when you'll be leveling up. I did see people complain about this system when the game first released, but I think it's fine. It is random, but it seems like when you're in a tough battle, the odds of getting a better DMW spin increases, which can be a lifesaver when you're in a battle with a boss with no MP left and about to die. You get unlimited magic letting you heal and continue the fight. In my opinion, the gameplay is brilliant, but the only downside is that you have to deal with constant enemy encounters. Enemies pop up at specific points of the map, so even if you walk a few feet away, then go back to an area of an enemy encounter, you have to do that fight again. This can be a bit tedious and did discourage exploration. I'd found though if I'd hugged the walls as I walked, I didn't always trigger enemy encounters. Aside from the main campaign, there are also 100 training missions that unlock as you play the game or as you complete other missions. These were a good chance to gain experience fighting enemies and also gain some high level materia. You can fuse materia together, and if you want the really powerful spells, you need to complete missions and fuse the materia. I enjoyed this aspect. This time round I didn't finish all the missions, but the first time I played I did, which I'm still proud of. This game is over 10 years old, and it came out for a portable that launched over 15 years ago. Despite this, the graphics are still really good. I played it this time on my Vita, and sure, it's a bit pixelated, which is to be expected for a PSP game on Vita, but it still looks great. The environments, enemies, characters are varied, and the world of Final Fantasy VII really comes alive and feels more real than FF7 on PS1. The music is also superb. The new tracks are great, as are the tracks from Final Fantasy VII that are brought back for Crisis Core, like Aerith's theme. So overall, this game is still brilliant. It plays well, impressive graphics given its age, great soundtrack, and an extremely memorable story. If you haven't played it, I can't recommend it enough. There is a reason this game is considered one of the best on the PSP, and particularly for Final Fantasy VII fans, this is a must-play. So this is a spoiler warning. I'm going to talk a bit about why the story is just so damn good. So if you haven't played it, then stop the video and feel free to come back later. Okay, so I've mentioned how Zack is a great protagonist. He's optimistic, honourable, and generally a nice guy, which makes the game so sad to see all the crap he has to go through. Seeing his mentor and friend turn into a monster, having to fight his hero Sephiroth, finding Aerith, a girl he likes, and being separated from her, realising he's been in prison for years, then dying protecting his friend. He's one of the best heroes in the FF series, and it's heartbreaking seeing all this happen to him when he's such a likeable guy.
Boy, oh boy. The price of freedom is steep.
Equally, seeing Sephiroth as this stoic warrior and descend into madness as he learns about his true nature is really well played out in the game. Assuming you played Final Fantasy VII first, you know what's going to happen, but it's still executed in a way that makes it feel scary. You see what's coming, and you have to watch this guy who Zack looks up to throughout the game turn into a monster. The fight with him was brilliant. It was a pretty tough battle, as it should be given it is Sephiroth. Zack's death was super sad. By the time you reach the end of the game, you know he's going to die, and you're facing wave after wave after wave of Shinra soldiers. I remember the first time I played it, I was so over-leveled at that point, I was tearing through them easily. And I did wonder, is there a chance the game changes the ending? Could I actually beat Shinra? But no. I don't remember how long I kept fighting, 20 minutes, maybe more, but in the end I was worn down and died. That end scene with Cloud and Zack was just brilliant, and the song that played, I still listen to it now and again.
They're yours now.
It's such an incredible game. I haven't played Final Fantasy VII Remake, but I would love to have a chapter playing Zack's story. He is the best part of Final Fantasy VII, and I think Crisis Core deserves a remake too. So guys, have you played Crisis Core? And if you have, what did you think of it? Leave a comment below, and as always, thanks for watching.